Good morning, church. I hope that you enjoyed our time and worship together this past Sunday, and I hope that you were encouraged and maybe even challenged a little bit by the sermon I brought dealing with the faith of Jesus versus the fear of the Pharisees. And one of the primary takeaways I hope that we gained from that study in the Gospel of Mark in chapter 7 was that Jesus engaged people based on their needs. And the love and the compassion and the grace that Jesus had for the people around him superseded that of some of those religious leaders in his sphere who thought they knew better and who thought that the kind of holiness God expected was intended to create a vast separation between us and the others. But that's not what God's holiness looks like really at all. God's holiness is one that's based on righteousness and goodness and justice and truth and purity, absolutely true. But it's one that brings him near to us. It's one that caused him to come down and take on flesh and suffer and die for us. And in his resurrection, we're reminded that that was the right thing, that God was glorified, that the Father was honored by that behavior, by his Son. And so when we go about our daily lives today and every day that follows, let's try to be more like Jesus, less like the Pharisees. Let's live lives that are not directed by fear of what if and what if and what if, but instead are based on the faith and the trust that God can make things whole and God can make things right. And if we're going to err on one side or the other when we deal with people, then let's show hospitality instead of withdrawing. And let's show compassion instead of judgment and disdain. And let's show grace instead of a harshness that tries to impress on people how bad they are and how wrong they are. And let's not act like we have to be afraid of people who are different or who are even caught up in some things that God is himself trying to pull them out of. And so again, if we want to be like Jesus, let's live by faith. Let's live in love. And let's always ask God for his guidance, for his wisdom, and for his forgiveness if we make mistakes. Because God is a God who will give us just that. Hope you have a good rest of the week. Talk to you again soon.